Hey everybody, today I'm going to edit a photo of Katie in St. George, Utah in Lightroom. My name is Scott Flathouse. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get started. For this video, I'll be editing a sports portrait style image that I made with Katie as part of the photo shoots I was doing at the Ironman 70.3 World Championship in St. George, Utah in 2021. We were set up on the edge of a cliff overlooking the reservoir where the swim takes place, and you can see the swim buoys in some of these photos. I think, yeah, it's right down there. And pretty dramatic sight here. We got the sun coming up on the left. This was early in the morning, and to help with the contrast, I had a softbox and a Godox strobe set up on just to the right, and that helped with the fill a little bit. But we're going to edit this and probably end up cropping out. We will end up cropping out all the light and the light stand. But what I wanted to show you guys was some of the masking tools that Lightroom has started to incorporate, and it's really pretty amazing. So let's jump into it here. So what I want to do here is pick up the color and the skin tone and create a mask that is only on her skin tone. And so the way we do that is we'll jump into the Develop module and click on the mask. And there's lots of ways we could do this. We could select the subject or select the background and invert it. But let's click down here on range and color range, and it gives me an eyedropper, and I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to pick a color that's the skin tone. And so as soon as we do that, Lightroom generates a mask, and the reason I know what this mask is because it turns it a different color. I think the default color for Lightroom is red, and you can change that, but since I have a lot of reds and oranges in the image already, I'm going to change that to another color, and like this nuclear green looking color. All right, now that has created a mask over a lot of the stuff that I don't want, and it's not really even complete because I wanted her skin. So we're going to pick another area. Let me zoom back in. There we go. And then I'm going to shift click, and I'm going to add this color over here. So this catches most of her skin, and it doesn't really pick up the colors on her kit, which are this kind of blue and teal color. All right. But it also picks up a lot of the tones in the rocks and the background, which I don't want. So then we can go up here to the mask, and I can click on these three dots, and I can intersect this mask with the subject. So when I do that, it only picks Katie, and also only her skin tones. And it grabbed a little bit here in the background, but that's going to be okay. I can go back with a brush and edit that out. But I'll show you what we're going to do here. So we're going to increase the exposure just a little bit here, just to help separate her from the background a little bit more. And then for the skin tone, one of the things I like to do, a quick and easy way to smooth out the skin tone, and we'll zoom in again, is to use this texture. And we can drag this texture slider all the way, almost all the way down. And that does a really nice job of smoothing out the skin tone. Okay. It's kind of the quick and easy way to smooth out skin tone. And so you can do this on a lot of images where you select the color range of the skin and then apply this texture slider. So let's turn that on and off and see what we did here. So before and after, before and after. And we can make some other adjustments too. Maybe we want to warm up the skin tone just a little bit. Let's make sure we're in the mask here. And let's maybe slightly warm it up. And then again, you can hover over the different parts of the mask. So this is the subject, and that is what Lightroom thinks that the subject is, and that's the color range. And the resultant mask is the intersection of those two masks. Okay? All right, so now that we've completed that edit, let's go ahead and crop this down. So I'm going to hit R, and I want to do kind of a square crop because I'm thinking this is going to go on Instagram. All right, and then let's make a few adjustments. This is already looking really good, but I'm going to add some dehaze, which increases the contrast a little bit more. It also adds a little bit of blue to the image. If I go way too far, it doesn't look good. And then I'm going to bring the shadows up. Almost every time that I add the dehaze, I'll go ahead and bring shadows back up a little bit. Okay, and then I'll go down here to color grading, and I really like the kind of matte black look, and one way to achieve that is just go to the shadows. I'm not going to add any color to it, but I am going to lift the luminance, and you can see that that adds a little bit of matte kind of color or a matte tone to it. Okay, and maybe go back up here, add a little more dehaze to increase the contrast back some more. All right, maybe drop the highlights a little bit. Bring the exposure up. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Now let's do a before and after on this. So before, background looked a little dull and muddy, and so we've added some contrast, added a little bit of saturation. I think we need to bring out the teal in her kit some more. So let's go to the saturation on the hue, saturation, and luminous panel. And I'm just going to take the slider here and we'll saturate this. You can see it's really adding some saturation to the water as well. Let's do this a little smoother and go all the way down here to the calibration. We can add some saturation in the blue primary. This also adds, kind of ironically, adds a little saturation to the orange and yellow highlights as well. And we can dial that back by pulling down the green primary saturation. So there we go. I think that looks pretty good right there. Maybe drop the highlights a little bit more. All right. Now, one more tip on this. We've made a lot of changes to this image. And if we like the look and we want to apply this to another image, we can do that, or throughout the whole gallery. So let's drop down here. I've got one of Katie standing without her bike, and I've got the source image highlighted. And I can just command and pick another image, and we can sync the settings. And so Lightroom brings up this dialog panel, and I want to sync everything, including the mask. And there we have it. And so let's take a look here and see what Lightroom did. So we can, before and after, it applied all the same changes, including the mask. So let's take a look at the mask. Yeah, so you can see that it only picked the skin tone or the color range that represents her skin tone, and it only picked that color range on the subject, so Katie herself. So really useful, really quick way to edit a lot of photos. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. And be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what more you'd like to see. Thanks again.